Hello, everyone. We welcome you to the May 21st, this May 21st, May 20th, Town of Caroline Business Meeting. And let's begin by pledge the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's look at my agenda. I can't, is anybody else, is Irene the only person online?
We have a couple people.
So would anyone like to address the board for privilege of the floor? Anyone online? Okay. So I think we will begin. To our distinguished visitors. We're here to learn all about government. We're happy to have you. I think we'll just give reports. Mark's not here for the supervisory report, but I'll just say a few things. One, today we opened bids for the town hall renovation project. We had 4 bids. They are very, very different in cost estimations, and so our engineer architect consultant is vetting them for us, and we'll come back next week with a recommendation, and so we'll go from there. And Mark will be back for that as well, which will be good. But it went very, very smoothly, and all 4 bidders came for the opening.
Maybe you could say what the renovations are and the grant for our student here.
Oh, we're basically renovating this historical town hall. And so it's very extensive because the exterior hasn't been renovated structurally in a very, very long time. And it's the town's most cherished historical building. This used to be the school, the town school initially. And so that's going to entail work on the foundation, underneath in the basement, taking out asbestos from the basement, weatherproofing, a new escape entrance in the back. It's very extensive. And this is a staircase, and we received a very significant $600,000 grant from New York State to begin to do this with Historic Ithaca, who's our partner in this. And so this has been working on this now for about 1.5 years, with consulting, planning. So then we finally decided exactly what we're doing and put it up for bid. So we're at that stage. And so we will find out in another week where that's going, and even the start times for the project vary radically from within 5 weeks to 1.5 years down the line. And so I'm sure that Jennifer Burns will just also take that into consideration at all as well.
One thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when we say put it out to bid, we make it public, and then companies, engineering companies and building companies can say, oh, I'm interested.
I think otherwise, we received a very, very extensive report the town board did from Dave Maythar regarding progress of Trident Fiber. You might have seen trucks all over the town building, adjusting wires and building poles, and the aim is to have municipal owned broadband available to all Caroline citizens. Ideally, the first batch will be available by the end of the year. We'll a very, very, very big project. That was a $12 million grant between Caroline and Dryden. And also, if you go by the town barns, you'll see Just trying to think. What else?
They're focused on Carolyn, so especially right now to get as much wire as possible, because to meet the MIP deadline.
Yeah.
Like, because driving, because it's not continuous and slow work there.
Right,
So,
right. And there's supply chain issues and all kinds of stuff now because of what's going on again internationally. I also have a, rail, and those were replaced and new rope was acquired. And the flag committee received 600 veterans for cemetery flags for Caroline veterans from the Tompkins County Veteran Service agencies. And 100 people went to the 7 abandoned cemeteries owned by the town for New York State law, which also requires mowing and maintenance 3 times a year, which the town takes care of. The active cemetery associations did theirs, and local families and veterans did the 7 town ones. So we do a couple as well. And it's always a privilege, he says. And he suggests that something for the 250th anniversary should be Revolutionary War veterans could be remembered. So that's Mike's review.
Can I say, I just noticed that Irene sent a message saying that the audio's going on and off.
Yes, going on.
Yeah, it's on right now. It's good, but it stopped. By the time I typed, it stopped. It was back. And it's been cutting in and out. I don't know if there's anything you can do.
Well, this is unfortunate because we switched to a hard cable to take care of that problem. And last week it was taken care of. I guess, is Irene the only person on there's other people?
We have a couple of people on.
I guess we could reboot and start over to try to do that. That didn't work last time, right?
No, we're hardwired, so it's not gonna get any better than what it is now.
Yeah, Irene, I think we're just gonna have to, for the moment, we've had technicians in here and
Okay.
we're gonna have to, hopefully it won't cut out very much. And if you do, maybe, if it does, maybe a wave, I'll probably see you. And
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems to be flipping in and out. Well, now it's not doing it at all, but it was maybe 20 seconds and then it started up again.
Okay.
So.
Does the town clerk have a report?
Sure. April revenues, I'll just go through real quick. So I sold 5 fishing licenses. I did 1 marriage license, 27 dog renewals, and got 11 building permit fees. Total local revenues collected was $1,501.68. Check was given to the supervisor on the 5th. And I just wanted to remind folks, my summer hours begin June 1st. So the office will start closing on Wednesdays through August.
Okay.
That's my report.
Any questions about that? Thank you, Jesse. Bobby's not here. I can just say that the highway crew worked really, really hard a week and a half ago for the town cleanup week.
I went to, they did a great job.
Yeah, they were really busy. I'd never heard the final number of deliveries they made, but
It was like $3,000 worth of
very, very significant.
weight cost.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So they did a lot. So it's really great. Just be aware, road time. And a couple
South
of projects, South Road.
South Road is gonna be closed June 1st through July 1st
Really?
for culvert work. So there'll be a detour for folks, Gamma McCormick folks have been.
And there'll be announcements and postings the best we can, and we just hope that the public will be patient. And with the weather, you just can't always predict how quickly these things are gonna work, but season is upon us. If you've driven into Ithaca, you know that full well. The whole town's under construction.
Well, Route 13 is getting a huge makeover.
Also, yeah, so it's gonna be a long summer for all of us. Code officer,
I jotted down his permits if you want me to
yeah,
go through those for April. 3 accessory building sheds, 1 alteration, 1 deck, 1 demolition, 1 alteration, 1 re-roof, and a swimming pool. And a copy of his full report that he gives me every month, so it's filed with the plans for anybody.
and the board has that.
Yeah.
And I'll just say that he's also been extremely involved still with clarifying administrative applications of the zoning and subdivision law and working very, very intensely with the review board. And we hope all of that will get settled out very quickly. And, you know, in that context, we are working on revisions for the zoning law and for the subdivision law and the zoning law. Mark and I are hoping perhaps present that. I would say in July initially, I hope. And the other thing that I'm working on as well is a moratorium for
Yeah, the data centers, right?
data centers thing.
Yeah.
I'm losing my mind.
That's fine. We need those.
And if it just depends on what happens around here in the next week, because I'm going on vacation for 2 weeks, but if I can, I'm gonna hopefully get the resolution to Guy for vetting so that we can present it to to you guys, to everybody, and then present it in June to the public for a public meeting at the June meeting. I'd like to do that. So, but if we're able to attack the zoning laws expeditiously, as I hope,
Mhm.
so much going on with Trident Fiber and this building and highway that it well could be that we're not going to get all of our ducks in order by July for the zoning thing. Our county legislator is with us in a rather magisterial setting. Green, do you have a report?
I do, and it's, you know, there's actually, I have quite a bit to report since I missed you guys last month. I was away. So let's see, I'll start with financial related stuff. Budget review is started with our county departments to figure out what their needs are going to be. The cost drivers, as I'm sure you guys recognize, also is a lot of it has to do with pensions and healthcare, and you know, those are the big personnel related expenses that drive up the budget each year. We don't know what's happening yet in the state budget in regards to the extent to which the state is going to help to make the county whole for whatever Medicaid cuts we experience through the Trump administration's work requirement plans and reporting. So that may also weigh in heavily into the budget this year. The county is also beginning to develop a 20-year capital plan. There are some projects that we know of in the pipeline, center of government being the most immediate. And there's been a resolution passed, actually starting with the prior legislature and somewhat recently reaffirmed by our legislature to draw up plans for that with a spending cap of, I think it was 60 million. And so we'll see what happens as they actually draw up more specific plans and put it out to bid, and whether we're going to be able to meet the needs at that cost. What else? Emergency medical services. The state has required that by December 19th, every county submit a plan for how they're going to manage emergency medical services. And as of, well, last year, anyhow, there was legislation introduced to allow that if a municipality, whether county or town, was undertaking a expansion of their EMS program, that the costs for that be exempt from the tax cap, and the governor said no, didn't allow that. So we don't know what's going to happen and how that's going to get handled. So we're hoping that there will be more guidance from the state and from the governor, perhaps once they start to see the plans that come in and what it's going to cost. Maybe there will be a cost share with the state to implement programs, but EMS service is now considered an essential service in the state, and so everybody's got to figure out how to provide it. More locally, the long-awaited study on how we might in Tompkins County develop a more robust emergency medical services plan. We'd had various presentations by the consultant. They finally given us the final plan on how they, what they see the needs are and how they recommend going about, or different options to fill them. And also somewhat related to all of that, the county has applied for a certificate of need, which would allow the county to operate an EMS service throughout the county. So we'll see where all of that goes. The county is also undertaking, this was again something that was authorized before I came on, but to, there's, so I want to, let's see. So they're undertaking a study about changing the minimum wage in Tompkins County, to increase the minimum wage. And I emphasize the word minimum because, Caroline and the county have been historically have paid a living wage. Raising the minimum wage doesn't necessarily mean providing a living wage, but in any case, undertaking a study that's had various groups of stakeholders interviewed to find out what would be the impacts. And, one of the big questions is how many employers and how many employees are already getting paid above minimum wage, and if they are, at what level, and what are the impacts to employers if we were to do this. So it's just a informational study. It's not necessarily saying that we're going to move in that direction, but we wanted information about what would happen if we did. And it doesn't, nor does it set any financial figure for what the revised minimum wage would be. And there's also the question of whether the state would even allow us to set our own minimum wage. So, but it was, something that's been a recurring topic of concern in the community. And so it's something that's being looked into. What else? The state has requirements for accessibility of websites. And those requirements were going to be required by April of 2026. The state has now extended that until April of 2027. So I presume that this applies to town websites along with county websites, and suggest that you look into it. I suspect that the county's communications department could probably offer some guidance if you need information as to what the requirements are. And, Association of Towns may also have some information on that, but encourage you to explore what the upgrades are that are required. So, and last, and this is actually another big part of our budget, is all of the pieces of programmatic support and you know, infrastructure building support that's provided for taking care of the people who are unhoused, whether their needs are for temporary housing or overnight when it's freezing cold out. And so there's lots of updates related to all of that. Code Blue ended at the end of April and won't resume until the fall. We're required to provide overnight shelter to people who are unhoused once the temperature overnight drops to 32 degrees or below. And so we will continue to offer Code Blue services, and I expect they probably won't be starting up again until the fall. Although the way this spring is going, who knows? Here I am still in a turtleneck today. So the Asteri building downtown, it's actually not the county's building. We do have some involvement with it because of the health code violations. But the county continues to work with the city and in partnership with the state to figure out how to best manage the multiple situations there. As you know, as you're probably aware, there were couple of months ago now, there was the city's fire marshal issued a order to vacate because it had become unsafe. All the fire doors had been damaged and it was unsafe for habitation, and so it was closed down. And there's been all kinds of work with Vicino, the major partner and investor in that, to try and get the management up to par, get all the trash and you know, just some really pretty gross living conditions addressed. You know, people defecating in stairwells and needles and syringes, you know, drug paraphernalia found and that sort of thing. So lots of work that needs to be done to boost the management, and the county again has been working with the city on that. The county has been providing housing for various other groups of unhoused people, not just for overnight, but for temporary housing for some years now at the Roadway Inn, and we've just renewed a contract there. But we've also now had some preliminary plans drawn up and going to be applying to the state for funding to set up our own temporary housing facility that'll be back where the Found building used to be, sort of back behind Wegmans, that Cherry Street area. It's right now where our Code Blue Center is, and looking at converting it to temporary housing, and I believe it would provide Code Blue as well. And so, you know, looking for state support to build it. It's certainly not a capital project that we can take on fully on our own, but the expenses at the Roadway Inn for putting people up add up over time, and so this will be, you know, it's one of these challenges of capital expenditures is in the long run you save money, but boy, it's a, you know, it's a big budget item when you undertake these things, even though, you know, you put it out to bond and whatever else. And so anyhow, that's being looked into as well. That's what I got. Oh, one last thing in my notes. NYSEG rate hike. I don't know if you've seen the news. Something very unusual happened last week at the Public Service Commission. Usually what happens is, you know, the company introduces their proposal for how much money they want to get as a rate hike. And then over the course of 11 months, there's either negotiations around, you know, how much they're actually going to get, because it's not ever going to be what they asked for, or there's a kind of like a court proceeding called an evidentiary hearing, where there's administrative judges who listen to the various arguments of the company and the stakeholders and the Department of Public Service to figure out and then to come up with a recommended rate increase that the judges write, and then the Public Service Commission reviews it and typically would approve it. What happened this time is unusual. It started out as negotiations, but they were determined to be not productive and that there were too many affordability concerns. And so it then switched over to being this evidentiary hearing. And a lot of organizations, and Tompkins County was involved, Fossil Free Tompkins that I coordinate was somewhat involved, were heavily involved in a month-long worth of trial testimony, day in, day out for a month in Albany. Now, neither the county nor I were able to participate in that. But anyhow, we were expecting the judges from that hearing to issue a recommendation. And instead, and this is the unusual part, the Public Service Commission stepped in and said, you know what? We think that you guys need to go back and keep negotiating. We're going to issue temporary rates in the meantime, and we're instructing you to go back and see if you can negotiate not just a 1 year, but a 2 or 3 year settlement. So it's really frustrating. We don't know where things are going to end up, whether, why they think negotiations are going to be any more fruitful now. But in the meantime, the temporary rate hike is 3.5% on NYSEG Electric and 0.5% increase on gas. The caveat with that is that if the company, has some situation arise that they need to address because it involves either safety or reliability concerns, and so they need to fix a substation or a compressor station or whatever, they're allowed to go spend that money and then come back and ask to be reimbursed for it. And then also at some point, whether things do end up getting renegotiated or, decided through a court decision, if the rate hike is more than what they've been allowed, there will be a retroactive payment of, let's say things get decided in November after the governor's election, which is what I think all of this is about. Things get decided in November or December after the election, then we may have some retroactive money to pay between June, when the rate hike should have started, in December, and then whatever gets decided through negotiation or through the trial as the rate going forward. So it's really a crazy situation. I think the last time it happened was about 15 years ago. So that's what I got of a report. It's kind of a hodgepodge of a lot of different things going on. And I'm happy to answer any questions either on this or anything else that you have questions about.
I mean, that's an incredibly concise and very, very detailed report. That's great.
Well, good. I'm glad. So budgets are, right now they're meeting with departments and the agencies that we work with, and I expect sometime late in the summer, early September, we're going to start having, at least if it follows the pattern of this past year, there were twice a week budget meetings that were just about budget increases and hearing from all the different departments, starting in September. And of course, the budget required to be done around Thanksgiving time or early December, something like that. So that's what I got.
Have fun with that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Anybody have any other questions?
Thanks.
That was really great. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks
Thanks.
very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. Look who's here. She wanted to say hello too.
Earlier.
Mhm.
Thanks, that's great.
Yep.
See ya. So I think, does anybody have any new business?
Nope,
Nope.
nope.
Then we're doing, then we will do transfer resolution.
Yeah, you have to.
So I would like to make resolution to transfer $12,575 from A1620.44 to A1620.441. Second,
Second.
any discussion since Mark isn't here? All in favor?
Aye.
Good, okay,
Bill hangs on that.
thank you.
Yep.
And then I would like to make a resolution to approve vouchers for the payment of town bills for the A account, 49,698.85, DA 121, 823.04, and SL Streetlights 243.47.
Second.
Michelle, any discussion? Thank you guys for doing the vouchers
Yeah.
today.
We all.
That was really a team effort, so thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes.
Prepared by Velvet.
Minutes prepared by Velvet. Any recommendations? They're
No.
very good. Thank you, Velvet.
Thank you,
You're not
Velvet.
here. Thank you.
Be out there.
So it sounds like the minutes are ready to go. Any other business? Terry? Our student observer is really lucky to have a short meeting.
Incredibly short.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, second.
Michelle, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That's it. You're done.
I have a good question.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Who do I contact in charge of, who's in charge of roadways where driveways and a road? I talked to somebody last year, my daughter lives on Boyceville Road and she's got a daughter in a wheelchair. The driveway, the road is came down like this big hole. They filled it once last year, but Watts can't do it.
You know,
The school bus?
Roosevelt
Yeah,
County,
like-
that's a county road.
And who was
So that would be the county highway department.
Jeff just retired.
Jeff retired, so
no,
Yeah.
no, but don't worry, there's someone there. I just, I
Yeah.
don't know we don't know his name.
Yeah.
Just call Kenny Highway.
Yeah.
And Jeff, the previous supervisor, was really responsive, so
they were very good, like
Yeah.
they came and filled it, because they knew, I mean, it just.
I bet they come.
Just couldn't get from the driveway to.
Right.
Well, thing.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Good.
Okay,
Maureen, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was curious as to whether or not you guys get notified. I don't know, but I can certainly reach out to the highway department to find out which Caroline roads are gonna be, county roads or bridges that are under construction. Do you get notified by the highway department about that? They haven't notified me, and it's something maybe we should all coordinate.
they notify Bobby.
Yeah, they have a list. I would ask Bobby. There's a list. but
Bobby knows.
Okay,
It changes.
Yeah. And usually what the
Okay.
Irene is they'll announce something at the beginning of the year and then have to revise it 3 weeks later even, depending upon what else is going on. But yeah, generally speaking, we do get the list and it comes through highway.
okay. And I apologize, I couldn't hear what the woman on Boyceville Road was saying about something, a need of reaching out to the county highway department?
Just there's a dip in the road at the driveway, which makes it difficult for wheelchair and bus
Oh,
access.
got
This
it.
has been addressed in the
Okay.
past, so it just needs to be addressed again.
Okay. Can you guys give her my contact information as well?
Sure.
Or
Absolutely.
I can, I mean, I can, I guess. Just you know, I'd be happy to follow up if things aren't getting corrected for you, to just make sure that they do get corrected. So I'm your county legislator here on Zoom. And my number is 607-435-3010. So you can either call or text me to that number, and just let me know your address and what's going on, and I'd be happy to also touch base with the highway department about the situation.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks. Okay, I think we're ready to go home.
Okay.
So thanks, everybody. We've already ended the
Yeah.
meeting. Thanks, Irene.
Still.
Yeah.
Hope to see you soon. Bye.